Are we going to have our first stream with no complications? Are we going to have audio from both microphones? Are we going to have echoes? How is this going to be? I hope it's good. I hope that this is our first one in a month and a half that we have not had any technical issues. Please say something so that everybody can hear you speak through your very own microphone over there.
Well, I'm still trying to get situated on here because I'm always a little bit behind. I have that lag or whatever on my end. So, all right, I'm on. How do I sound?
Okay, so yeah. You know what? The whole conversation about our audio, the whole thing is over. We've spent the money. We have put forth the effort. We are here now. Let's go. Let's do
Finally.
this. It's very exciting. I'm not going to say it again. Oh, yes, I am. I'm going to say it right now. The audio issues on this live stream have been something that have ruined my life.
Mm-hmm. And when it ruins his life,
it's bad for everyone. It's absolutely bad for everyone. It has been an absolutely miserable thing. And I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am to finally have it resolved. And you know what? I can't even explain why it works the way it works now. But it works. And I'm excited about it. So, yeah, here we go. So let's get going with this thing. Welcome, everyone. I don't know what kind of a turnout we're going to get tonight because we don't have the all-powerful Corey McElroy leading us in tonight. So that's unfortunate. But we don't get to have that whisk of people coming in saying sweet potato pie or corn dogs or whatever.
Pizza.
Yeah. So, but that's okay because we will do that to rack later. I've got a really good one that we can use to when we all go over rack and go over to rack and have a lot of fun over there. So, because we have all the audio issues taken care of, even though you are a bit under the weather today, she woke up with a softball in her throat.
Oh, stop. It seems like it's been never ending since that weekend I was supposed to go to Aquashella. If it's not one thing, it's the other. I guess it's old age.
I'm telling you, it's almost like we have been cursed for a couple of months now. And we finally have everything good and up and running so we can move past that.
Yeah.
The only thing left now is the laptop so that I don't have to move this entire operation out here every day. So now I'm just going to bug the heck out of you for the laptop. But then once I get that, I'll be happy. And then it'll be the drone and then it'll be all kinds of things. But anyway, welcome, folks. We do this every single Thursday. This is Tank Talk Live. If we appear to be a little disheveled, it's because we are. I mean, we do this every single Thursday. We've been having technical issues for the last month. That's what we've been sitting here venting about. But it's all set now. We're finally ready to be able to bring you a real show, the way it's supposed to be brought to you. I've got tons and tons of things to talk about today. Unfortunately for you, the viewer, I'm going to be doing the majority of the talking today because I don't have a softball in my throat yet. I'm sure it's coming.
It'll be fine.
And I do always the majority of the talking anyway.
Right.
That's just, it's not because I'm a loudmouth. It's because you're just quiet when it comes to this stuff.
I just kind of take over anyways. But if I have something to say, I will interrupt you. I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, we all know that's true. I got a couple of things to talk about in the What's Going On segment. Your first time joining us, we do What's Going On with us in our fish room, and then we move on to a topic of the day, which today will be being prepared for winter and being prepared for power outages and all that kind of stuff, which I'm excited about. Haven't really done a whole lot of prep for it, but I don't think that's going to be a problem because it's something that we've talked about for a very long time. And so I think we can speak pretty fluently about that. We also, we do a video shout out, which today, I don't know if you have one, maybe between now and then while I'm doing all the talking, you can think of one. I have a very unique video shout out today. It's going to be, I believe, the first time I have shouted out a video from a channel that is significantly larger than ours. I haven't even talked to you about it, but it is, you'll have to stay tuned to find out what it is. But this is somebody that does not need a shout out from me in any way, has never heard of me, never will hear of me. But I dream about him quite regularly. So no, it's not Peter McKinnon. But yeah, my video shout out today is going to be unique because it's going to lead into another thing that I have to talk about later on. I had 2 conversations with 2 different YouTubers this week, both of a very serious matter. Not negative, not drama. It's not anything like that, folks. One of them was today. It was very brief, but it was brief enough, and he was concerned enough to where I told him, I'm going to talk about it tonight in the stream, and hopefully I'll make you feel better.
Do I know what it is?
No, because I just got home from work an hour ago, and I haven't talked to you about it.
Okay.
But the first one was a conversation that I had the other day that I did tell you about, but we're not going to get into that yet. We will get into that after we do the main topic. And we also will be taking breaks to shout out our super chatters as well as new members. So if that is happening, we will shout you out. Don't worry. Not only shout out, but if you have a question attached to it or whatever, we will definitely address those. But we're going to get back to the old school format here and do things the way we used to do them. If you want me to start with the what's going on, I'd be happy to.
Sure.
Okay. I was hoping you'd say that. 2 things for me in the what's going on segment. First is I'm not going to talk about that yet. I've got a really fun episode of We Need to Talk this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, we're going to talk a lot about We Need to Talk.
Are you doing it this weekend?
Yes. But then it goes to every other week.
Right. Okay, I got my weekends mixed up.
This weekend is going to be a lot of fun. Zenzo Tazawa from Tazawa's Tanks is going to be joining me. I don't know if you're going to be a part of it.
I have to go to bed early Saturday night since I have to drive to Delaware
Oh, that's right.
at 4 o'clock in the morning.
So, yeah, so it'll probably just be me, but that's okay because then we can talk bad about women and stuff and you won't hear me.
Talk bad about women?
You know that's not going to be happening, but yes.
Andy won't let that happen.
Zenzo has a very interesting life. And it's nothing bad. I mean, I don't know if anything bad has happened to him, but I've heard him talk on a podcast. It was either the Aquarius podcast or it was Real Fish Talk with Corey. I don't know which one it was. I'm pretty sure Corey was involved with it, but regardless, he talked a lot about his upbringing and stuff like that. And it's pretty interesting, and it has a lot of stuff that I'm very much interested in. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that series. Really looking forward to it. So if you like conversation that will include fish talk quite a bit, but will also include other stuff, you're going to want to tune in on Saturday night. Of course, if you're not already clicked on the notification bell, do that. That way when we go live, because I don't know if we're going to do it 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock Eastern time, all times PM. I don't know if it's going to be 7 or 8 o'clock. We've got to figure that out with my guest. But Zenzo Tazawa not here, but on the stream with me Saturday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. The next thing that I want to talk about when it comes to what's going on is something that's happening and you're looking at it. Not you, Marie. Well, you kind of are too, but the viewers of this stream, you are watching it. I am not looking at the chat, so I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there's been a big...
I've seen a comment.
Dramatic change in this fish room. And it's on this side, not over there, not on her side. I'm trying to point to you on the screen, but on my side. So I had one of those light bulb moments last week when I got this tank behind me. It's a 360 gallon tank. When I got that tank, Current USA, friends of ours, they reached out. You're getting this tank? We got some lights for you. I'm like, cool, awesome. Not going to say no to that. they sent me two Serene kits, which I did a video about. Awesome setup, awesome lights. This is an 8-foot long tank, this one here, and it is 8 feet long, 3 feet from front to back. It's a big tank. And they sent two 6-foot lights. Now, when they told me they were sending that, I said, is that going to be enough for an 8-foot tank, 8x3? They said it's going to be fine. The problem is they were fine. They were good. They're great lights. But I needed more than good. All due respect to Current. I love Current USA. We are huge fans. There's 4 Current USA lights in this fish room right now. We are huge fans of them. But when I put it on there, I was like, that's good, but I need better than good when it comes to this, because this tank is in every live stream. It's in almost every single video. This is my staple tank. It is my prized possession. I need it to be better than just fine. Well, this tank here is a tank that I've had since 2016 when I first got this tank. Again, I know I'm a lucky guy. I mean, what do you want me to say? Coral Life sent me lights for this tank. They sent 4 4-foot lights, 4-foot LEDs for this tank. So last week I'm driving for work because that's all I do. I drive 400 miles a day.
Oh.
I'm driving and it just hits me. I've got an 8-foot tank and a 6-foot tank. The 8-foot tank has 2 6-foot lights on it. The 6-foot tank has 4 4-foot lights on it. Kind of a no-brainer, right? That common sense light bulb moment. So last weekend, I switched them. And if you can't notice, you don't know I'm doing this, but I'm going to do this. If you're watching right now and you can't tell the difference, maybe you're like, well, it looks good, but I don't really remember what it looked like last week. Well, what I've done is I have taken a screenshot. I'm going to cover you up. So if you need to pick your nose or something, go ahead. I took a screenshot of last week's live stream. And if you can look at that and you can't tell the absolute dramatic difference between both of these tanks now, then I'm not sure what pictures you're looking at. It is absolutely dramatic. This tank right here looks amazing, folks. I don't know how well it's translating in video. Looks pretty good on my screen, but let me tell you something. In person, it is dramatic, the difference between this tank, the way it was over here, the way it looks right there, and the way it looks now, night and day. So what we had worked for what we had, but we just had to switch it around. And I'm so glad that I did that. The Serene lights are awesome. I love them. If you look at them on this tank now, you can see there is a lot more color in that tank right now. I'm still kind of tweaking it a little bit, working with the red and the green and the blue and the white and try to get it all balanced out. I do want a little bit more blue so that it looks a little more like this tank. But look at that. Look at the difference between the two. If that's not a night and day difference, I don't know what is. So yes, I am extremely happy with that. These are lights I've had for 3 years and they still are screaming in there. The arowanas look better. The fish, the biggest thing, one of the biggest changes, first of all, is the fact that the entire tank is covered in lights now. But not only that, I was with the Serene lights, I had them kind of in like the rear third of the tank because it's a 3-foot deep tank. And we had the brackets with the extensions. It's all in that video. But it was still, they were kind of sitting in the back of the tank. So if the fish, like the Oscar is right now, look at him right there. If the fish were up at the front of the tank, they were dark and you couldn't really see them. But now what I did was I put the 2 of the lights all the way as far forward as I could until they wouldn't, so that they won't hit the lids, the openings, all the way up against that. And then the 2 in the back are maybe like a foot off of the back. And look at it. I mean, it's absolutely night and day dramatic. There you go. So it is definitely a testament to the lights, but it's also a testament to common sense, because you got four 4-foot lights. You should put those on the 8-foot long tank as opposed to having 2 6-foot lights on there. Common sense will tell you that, but I don't claim to be the smartest person in the world. It just never, I got you back on camera now, so take your finger out of your nose. So I it just never occurred to me really to do that, but I am so glad that I did. So there you go.
Much better.
That's what's going on with me. You have anything going on with you?
No.
I can't even take a vape break. You don't have anything to say.
Really, it's just been a normal week. I haven't had anything major going on. I upkeeping in the fish room and a little bit of work, but other than that, no new fish, no breeding, no just.
You didn't clean up my mess from the filter reviews. How dare you?
Wow. So this guy decided to do some YouTube videos on, was it Sunday?
Yes.
And just left a big old mess. So yeah, I cleaned it up a little bit though. I couldn't stand walking around it.
I'm just teasing you. I'm reviewing 6 different hang on the back filters. Hopefully you've been watching the videos already. I've been through the first 2. I did 3 more that day, which means I've done a total of 5. No, I did 2 more that day. Basically, I had 2 left, and it was like 8:30 on Sunday, and I'm like, Walking Dead's getting ready to come on. Watchmen is coming on. I'm done for the night. It's Sunday night. It's been nonstop ever since whenever. I made the stupid statement, like this was ever going to happen. I said, you know what? I'll just do the videos tomorrow when I come home from work. I'll do the last 2, and then we'll be good. We'll have like 5 videos in the bank. We'll be all right. But that hasn't happened. So everything is all set up. All the lights, the microphone, the boom mic, everything is all set up. And I just left it there.
Well, it's not all set up now because I moved it all around.
Yeah, and we had to move the lights and everything too. But you know what? It is what it is. And I'll get those done this weekend, the last 2, and then we'll be all right. So yeah. Okay, so that's it for what's going on, huh?
Yeah.
Let me go ahead.
I have such a boring life.
Yeah.
At least this week, not next week.
Next week's going to be a little hectic. So Edgar boys, Steckenfinger, hope I'm saying that right. Perfect audio, my man. Thank you. Thank you for that. Kelsey Baker says, here's my $2, but I don't care to say anything. Kaler Aquatics, because Bob's doing what Bob does, sent in the amazing sticker, which is a person laughing so hard, and it looks like She-Hulk. It looks like She-Hulk. Thank you, Bob, for the $10 super chat. Tarsik, found you a month ago. Love your channel with the $5 super chat. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for contributing. Chelsea Riley knows me very well. Does she live in the neighborhood or something? She knows me very well. She says, John likes hearing his own voice.
Oh, right.
That's
True.
Pretty much going to be written on my gravestone. And then, which is probably going to be soon. Keep working me like this. Chad Kratz came in and said, is it PewDiePie? No, I'm not going to be recommending a video from PewDiePie.
Wait, Chad, did you get your book? Because I did mail that out. Just want to make sure you got it. Let me know you got it.
Thank you for the $15 super chat. Very, very generous of you. It is not PewDiePie. If you are a follower of KG Tropicals, if you are a frequent of this, a frequenter, if you frequently watch this stream, when you hear me talk about a bigger channel that I'm going to be shouting out, it's not a fish channel, and it's not Casey, it's not Peter. It's not either one of those guys. Who else is it going to be? It's not that hard to figure out. You can't even answer that. Woman, you don't even know me. Jeez. You sit over there across from me like you're the boss, and you don't even know me.
Whatever.
Candy guessed it. It's Joe Rogan. I'm going to be recommending to the viewers of this live stream a Joe Rogan video, but there is a very particular reason why. And if you If you're a fan of Joe Rogan, you probably know why, because he did a video that had something to do with fish. Multi-tank addiction, someone we're going to be talking about later, just wanted to say tanks look great and high.
Thank you.
Thank you. And stay tuned to hear more about you later. Nothing bad, folks. Absolutely nothing bad. Chris is my man, even though the shaving the head thing and the dyeing the goatee was weird. It was weird, but it wasn't.
I thought it was cool, actually.
You thought it was cool because he wasn't trying to look like you, but it wasn't weird, Chris. I just like giving you a hard time about it.
I tried to look like you on Halloween.
You looked more like me than Chris did.
That was so
I mean,
funny.
Chris and I are about the same size. He's a taller guy than me, but anyway, this is going to get out of control real fast. Allie Patton said, wait a minute, they're on a super chat break. I got to make sure I show them that I'm the #1 fan. $20 for Lisa and lightning for John. Bzz. Yep, I've got the bracelet on, Allie. Thank you for recommending that to her. So, okay, that's it for the super chats for now. We will, if there are more, we will get back to them. Trust me, we will. We will take breaks, but I am somebody that, if you haven't figured this out by now, I need to kind of stay on course, because if I don't, I get into trouble and I go off and I do things and I talk about things that I probably shouldn't. That's what we need to talk is for. Today, we're 22 minutes into this. There's probably already been somebody that has said, can we talk about fish now? Even though we spent all that time talking about fish lights and all that. Anyway, and then Chris came in again, $2. Okay, it was weird, but I have moved on.
Moved on.
That's what makes it great, though, Chris, is that it was weird. It was odd. It was like, okay, I've never had somebody do that before, but it's all fun, and you got a lot of love from me, so don't worry about it. So. Winter is coming. I hate winter.
I just like the snow.
Well, you're a weird person. I don't understand you. I don't understand people that live in the Midwest. I love you people, but I just don't know how you can live where you live. I am friendly with people online that live in the West Coast or on the Midwest, and they're like, oh yeah, we already got snow here, 1.5 feet of snow. I'm like, no, it's not even, what's the date? It's November. I don't know what date it is. November 21st, Google payday. We can't have snow yet. That's ridiculous. And I hate winter. I hate snow. Anybody that loves snow, I don't understand you people.
Snow. I don't know why, but I love it.
I've been with you for 11 years.
Yes.
And we've had like 4 decent, 1 mammoth, but 3 other like decent snows. And this is not a joke, folks. This is real. Every single time we've had a large snow, I've had the flu. And she has gone, it's perfect. And she has gone and done all of the shoveling. Mm-hmm. Now, where we live now, we didn't get any snow last year, did we? I don't think we did. Our driveway.
Just a little bit. I remember because Ida was pregnant. So I made sure that I shoveled snow to make a path to their cars in the driveway.
Our driveway is maybe 75 feet long. It's not a super long driveway.
Oh, this one is, but
this
the last one.
Yeah, this one is only about 75 feet long, and it's dead nuts flat. Our last house was uphill. It was probably 300 feet long. It was a bruiser. And it was one of those that if you were leaving our driveway, you had to drive uphill, and it was a pretty substantial hill. If there was only 5 snowflakes that had fallen from the sky, my truck wasn't getting up that driveway at all. I mean, I've got a pickup truck, but it's not 4-wheel drive. It would just go, that sound.
And then I'm the weirdo that every time there's like just 1/4 of an inch of snow, I'm out there, shoveling it because I don't want anyone to fall. So I'm shoveling while it's snowing and shoveling and shoveling. It's I'm OCD about it. I want a pathway. I don't like feeling stuck. I want to know I can go.
I do remember the snow last year, and I remember shoveling the driveway because I didn't have the flu last year. But every time we've had a substantial snow, she's been the one snowing. She's been snowing the driveway. She's been the one shoveling the driveway. I've always had dreams of getting a snow blower or a plow for the front of my my riding lawnmower, but now we'd be idiots if we got one now because our driveway is like, and we're done.
What do you need one for? You have me.
Well, that's true too. And we've got all these kids that live here. A couple of them might be moving out soon, but we've got all these kids living here. We should never have to shovel snow. Anyway, winter sucks. I hate winter. I'm not a huge outdoor person, but I like to go outside, and I like to go out on the kayaks, and I like to get out of the house. It's kind of difficult when I work 70 hours a week, and then my other job is sitting on my ass at my desk. Got to start cursing in live streams now so that we're not hit by COPPA. No, I'm just making a joke here. That actually slipped, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I try to keep this G-rated, but that's my life. My life is sitting on my butt. I've got to do something about that. I've got to make a lifestyle change. So I'm not a huge outdoor person, but I hate winter because I want at least to have the option to go outside. And when it's 5 degrees outside and a foot of snow, I hate it. I don't know how you people in South Dakota and North Dakota and Minnesota, I don't know how you people do it because that is hell on earth to me. I hate it.
I think it would be awesome to live there.
I also hate it because it can wreak havoc on our fish tanks. We're here to talk about fish, right? Winter is a time when fish keepers start getting nervous. Why? Because with winter comes power outages, and with power outages comes ammonia spikes and dead fish. And so today, what I want to talk about is things to think about to be prepared for whatever is going to happen in winter. Because power outages in winter are or the concern that we have when power goes out in summer is very different from when power goes out in the winter. Most of us, I would be willing to bet that most of you that are watching here have more than one aquarium. A lot of you probably have fish rooms. And if you have fish rooms, they're most likely in one of two places: a garage like this or a basement. And both of those areas get extraordinarily cold in the wintertime. And so when it's winter, we're fighting two things. If we lose power, we're fighting two things. We're fighting temperature and we're fighting oxygen, right? And they're both deadly. I mean, because if your power goes out, obviously your filters shut off. Everything goes dormant. That's not immediately time to hit the panic button. Oh no, I need to go spend $1,000 on a generator, even though that is the best solution to everything that we're going to talk about tonight.
Right.
But it's not time to hit the panic button until we get to where we're talking several hours, we're talking overnight, we're talking several days. It's happened. It's happened to you. It's happened to me. We weren't together when it happened for either one of them. We weren't together.
Well, yeah.
The one
Because I had to let you borrow my generator because my power came back on.
Well, we were together then. I'm talking about the real bad one when you were out for like 7 days.
Oh, yeah. That was before I even kept fish.
Yeah, that was long, long ago.
I just kept kids, like little kids.
It's not uncommon when you live in the country, King George's country, even though I said we live 2 miles from a Walmart and we live 2 miles from a Petco and every fast food restaurant you can imagine, except for Chick-fil-A, which is, I just recently discovered the spicy chicken sandwich
You just
from Chick-fil-A.
totally went off topic.
I know. That's what I do.
So I'm putting you back on track.
Life-changing. The spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. The regular chicken sandwich is already the best sandwich. I don't care about Popeyes. But the spicy one,
What are you doing, a review for Popeyes? now?
life-changing. Yeah, I love Popeyes. Anyway, we live in the country. And a lot of times, country folk, when the power goes out, not a huge priority. The priority is going to be for people that are in the city where it's a very densely populated area. Now, we're fortunate. What did we lose power for that one night in the summer? And I streamed from the van.
Oh,
but the power was out for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
That was a long power outage for us. I mean,
for here, yeah.
we're not usually victims of long-term power outages. But if you are, if it's summertime, it's not a big deal. You just got to get that water moving, right? I mean, you can do
Use
that a
those
lot of different
fingers.
ways. You can.
That's what I do.
Get kids to go in there and flutter the water every
I don't
5
trust
minutes.
kids' fingers.
You
You never
can.
know where they've been.
Obviously, we're joking around. You can do that, but you'd have to be sitting there the whole time. A battery-operated air pump, all your problems are solved. I mean, unless your tank sits in the direct heat, like direct sunlight, and it's going to start boiling because there's no air conditioning in the house to cool it down. I mean, the main concern in summer is oxygen, because the filters are no longer running, the water's no longer moving, you're losing oxygen. Battery operated air pump, really the only thing you really need to keep on hand in summertime. I would rather have, as far as being a human being, I would rather have a power outage in the winter than in the summer. Because when I'm cold, I like to sleep cold, and I can just put more blankets on or a sweatshirt or something. But in the summer, when it's out and you got to go to bed and it's 94 degrees in your bedroom, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But when we're talking fish tanks, it's the other way around. Summertime, no big deal. Just get the water moving in there somehow, battery operated air pump, you're good. But in the winter, you got to do that. But you also have to be concerned about temperature. And that's the most difficult part, because you can't just swish the water around and get the temperature back up. So how do we do it? One of the first, it's really weird. I have the aquarium that I'm using for my filter reviews is right here. And every time I move my hands, I talk with my hands, I'm seeing my reflection in there, and I feel like it's the cat, because I don't even know where he is. But anyway, it's freaking me out here.
Just laying by my feet, being a have.
If you keep seeing me look over there, it's because I keep seeing movement over there reflecting in this aquarium that's not supposed to be here. The first thing is what I would do, and what we have done, and what you should do. And I forgot to grab it. It's right there. I'm going to go grab it in a second. I like if you run into this situation, it might sound nuts, but put a blanket over the tank. It might sound crazy. I'm going to go grab it. Say something to the audience here. I'm going to put the camera on you.
Wonderful. Okay, so he's going to go grab whatever. I don't even know what you're grabbing.
This blanket.
Oh, yeah. So, anyways, I finally have a chance to talk, and I really don't even know what to say, but I know that we had... I'm unable to get to where John gets to thank people for shout outs and all that kind of stuff, or super chat, so I do apologize. But anyways, I'm just going to look at what's the problem with the tank. I really don't know what you're talking about. I've got foam insulation on my tanks. It reduces heater usage and maintains temp. That's actually a really good idea. Okay, I'm kind of all mixed up in here.
Okay, well, that's okay. I'll save you. I'm back. So this is what I'm talking about. You can steal these from U-Haul if you ever rent a U-Haul. If you ever rent a U-Haul truck and there's already blankets in it, they're yours. Because they don't know that, yeah. I believe
Technically, isn't that stealing though?
these might even say U-Haul on them.
They do.
Yep, there it is right there. So these are U-Haul blankets. I've used these for a million things. These are great insulators. They are thick. They are very dense and fantastic for insulating. We've used those for all different kinds of things, including moving. But
cleaning furniture, you can put the machine on top of
That's
it
right.
so it doesn't mess up your floors.
absolutely. It is did you see we had a new member join up called Crazy Cat?
I can't. I was trying on here to get to that, and then I got myself like all mixed up on the chat, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
had
Well,
no idea what I was talking
we stopped
about.
at Multi-Tank Addiction's second one. So we'll run through those real quick. Crazy Cat, new member.
Yay.
Welcome to the team, and she's going to love you very much. Black Sheep Model Works with the $2 just says hello. $5 DeWolf. I adopted a tank that unexpectedly had a common pleco in it.
Oh.
I have a 55-gallon, but it mostly has small fish. Does a common pleco pose a threat to them? It can if they're like microfish. This is a catfish. People confuse them for fish that only want to eat algae. They don't.
Right.
They will definitely help you clean certain types of algae, but the common pleco is you got to treat it like a straight up catfish. Feed it like a straight up catfish and understand that its behavior is going to be very much like a regular catfish. So know that going in. If the fish are small enough and that catfish has the opportunity, yep, it's going down. And then I saw Mike, Fish Tank Barn, $5, Nickelback Ice Cream Fund. Summer is bad if your building is outside. I have put a blanket over my tank before. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have any AC in that outdoor building, yeah, that sure would be a bad one. And then I don't know why my screen does this. It really bothers me. Cichlid Central, how many cichlids for a 65? We'll get into that in a little bit. Thank you for your super chat. I'm actually just going to refer you to another video on my channel. I've done like 4 videos on that channel. There's a formula on that topic. There's a formula that I use. Go and check that out. Just go to my channel, go to the channel page and go to videos and search how many, and it'll pop right up.
He said how many cichlids. He didn't specify which kind of cichlids.
Well, we automatically assume that is African cichlids like these, right? Because if it's
Could be discus.
big cichlids, 1. That's your answer. Okay. And some reason I lost my chat on the tablet. Shocker. So there we are. And now it's gone. I love technology so much. It's so fun. Okay. So back to what we were talking about. Now both cats are laying on that blanket. See, it's great to have these kind of blankets around because you never know when the cats are going to want to take a nap. But it is very easy to take these and put blankets over top of them. They don't have to be these type of blankets. They actually have those, what are they called? They're the kind of blankets that look like they're metal or they look like they're plastic that like EMTs use and stuff like that are supposed to like really hold in moisture and hold in heat. Are you peeing on it? What are you doing, weirdo?
No,
He's digging on it.
yeah, he's doing this so they can make a little bed.
Those work great too. Anything that you can use that's going to basically seal the tank off. You don't want to seal it off completely. We need to get oxygen moving in there. We're going to talk about that in a second. But having no way for the heat to escape, that's the biggest thing. That's what the blankets are going to serve good for. Are you serious? That's your mother, dude. Weird stuff happening in this fish room right now. Anyway, hi YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now, and there's cats that are being. We want to keep
Move along.
we want to keep the heat in the tank as much as possible. Using blankets, stuff like that, is definitely going to help your cause to do that. However, if this is going to be a long-term thing, if your heat's going to be out for a long time, then we're going to have to go to greater lengths. And understand your smallest tank needs to be first, because the bigger body of water is going to take longer to cool off. We all have common sense, right? So if you have this fish room, the one that we would go for first is that 5-gallon or whatever that is, 3.5 gallon from Chris Lucup. And then we would go to the 5 gallons, and then we would go to the 10-gallon tanks, because that's a smaller body of water. It's going to cool off a lot faster. So we're going to want to treat those first. Now, if you don't have power, that means your heaters aren't going to work. How do you get power into these tanks? There's a few ways. Of course, the first way is going to be the generator. Again, the generator solves all of these problems. If you are a fish keeper with multiple tanks and you have a generator, which we do not, I used to, but it got stolen. If you have a generator, all of your problems are solved. I will have a generator very soon because you can plug in your heaters. If you have 18 tanks like we do, one generator ain't going to run everything. You're not going to be running your lights. You're not going to be running all of your filters. The best thing to do would probably be to keep a larger scale air pump with a bunch of air stones and air lines and stuff like that, and just run yourself a temporary web of air stones, unless you're somebody that already has air stones in all of your tanks. That's wonderful. You can plug in your centralized pump and you can plug in your heaters and you're good. You don't have anything to worry about. Is the situation going to be perfect? No, because there could be complications when you turn your filters on. Again, we'll get into that as we move on. But keeping the water moving, keeping the water warm, if you have a generator, it's not really going to be a problem. And one of the things that when I have a generator, I'm going to have a plan that is where my heaters are all plugged in one centralized area. So like the heaters for Lisa's 2 tanks, I'm going to have those in one power strip. And then these tanks, there's like 5 heaters between these 2 tanks. They will be on one independent power strip, and so on, so that power goes out. It's been out for a few hours. It's probably going to be out for a while. Plug in a power strip, run extension cords to all of those different areas where the heaters are, get those heaters going. Filters the same way, or air pumps, whatever. Now you want to go get you one of those truck mounted diesel monster generators that cost $45,000. Go for it. Then you can run your whole house off of that. Yep. My ex brother-in-law did that.
You wouldn't even know your power went out.
Well, that's a whole house generator, and that's the dream. That's everybody's dream, is to have that whole house generator that's run off of natural gas, and when the power goes out, I'm not talking about that though, folks. What I'm talking about here is the gas-powered portable generators that you see on construction sites and you see all over. That's what I'm talking about. So you have it in the shed and you hopefully never use it. But if you need it, you pull it out of the shed, you fill it up with gas, you let her rip, and you plug whatever you need to into. Like for us, it would be the aquariums to keep the fish moving and the refrigerator. And maybe the modem. But if the power's out, the cable's going to be out too, so we're not going to have internet. So that's the thing. We need to keep the temperature warm in the tanks. We need to keep the water moving so that we can keep oxygen in the tank. Air stones are perfectly fine for this, folks. So even, I told you in the summer, really all you need is a battery powered air pump. Well, you need those in wintertime too, along with a way to keep the heat in. Now, some people don't have generators, and I get it. And that's, it's a big expense. A cheap generator that you could run your aquariums with costs you $500-$600. So I understand not everybody can go out and do that, especially when you're buying something that you hope you never have to use. It's kind of like insurance. It's hard to pay that insurance bill every month, but it's just like that. If you buy a generator as a fish keeper, you're buying insurance. That's what you're doing. So it is a good expense, and it's something that if you ever do need it, you'll be really glad that you have it. But what if you don't? There is a trick that I heard years and years ago, and I've never done this because I've never needed to. But it would work. It would take some work. But you know what? If your power's out, you ain't doing nothing anyway. So you might as well take care of your fish tanks. And here's how you do it. You go to your gas grill, which we actually threw away. Our gas grill was falling all apart.
The one I bought you for your birthday.
Yeah. I got like 8 years out of that. It did well. You go to your gas grill and you boil some water on that gas grill. Now, don't be a dummy. Don't pour boiling water into your fish tank. I mean, we all have common sense, right? What you're going to do is you're going to find yourself a big tub or even a bathtub, whatever it is, You're going to heat up that water and you're going to mix it with colder water. Most places like ours, if our power goes out, we still have water pressure. We can still take a shower, but the hot water's going to run out from your water heater and it's not going to continue heating it up.
So the fish get the warm water, we get the cold water.
Well, no. What I'm saying is you heat water up on your gas grill.
I know.
And that's what you use for the fish tanks. Fill up your bathtub and then start filling up pots like a turkey pot with really hot water. Pour that into the water, mix it all up to where your water is 80 degrees or so, or even maybe a little higher since you're going to be mixing it with cooler water. Start mixing that into your aquariums. You're not going to dump it all in at once, and you're certainly not going to boil a pot of water and dump that into the tank. Let's not be idiots here. I'm a pretty big idiot, but not that much of an idiot. You're going to mix it first, and then you're going to put it in there. You don't need to be concerned with getting your water all the way up to 82 degrees. You need to get it manageable. You need to get it warmer so that your fish aren't in there freezing and becoming little fish popsicles. So you need to get it warmer. Get it up there to 76, 77. This is all temporary. It's not going to be something that you're going to have to deal with for hopefully a long time. I mean, if the apocalypse happens, you're not going to be caring about your fish anyway. You're probably going to be eating them. So, I mean, I know that sounds horrible, but come on. I mean, it's, in the apocalypse, you got to do what you got to do. Those arowanas.
I actually, I don't know if you were watching Fishy Biz's stream. He was talking about how his fish, I don't recall where he got the fish, but it was gone. And his mom had cooked it and he ate it.
What?
Yeah, I guess it was like one that you catch fishing or something. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah.
Hey.
His fish became food. He didn't even know until after he ate it, and that's so sad.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. I mean, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Now, if that was a pet and she did that, that's just mean. But
No,
hey.
no, I don't. I think it was like a pet to him, but it was.
She thought it was tomorrow's dinner.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, I mean,
sad for him.
We don't want to, we don't want that to happen. Of course we don't. The Walking Dead is not going to be happening anytime soon. But we're not going to care about fish if the apocalypse happens anyway. If there's zombies trying to get in my house and I'm having to put plywood on my windows, I'm not going to be caring about fish. I love them, but sorry, the dogs, yeah, but the fish, because anyway.
It's kind of mean.
So generator, number one thing we can do. I know we all can't do that. Cover the tanks up with blankets. If you have a lot of tanks, think about this. I don't always practice what I preach, folks. I'm sorry. I mean, what I'm trying to do is tell you the right things that can be done. It doesn't necessarily mean I do these things every single time. I don't have enough blankets to cover up all these tanks. But between, well, yeah, we probably do, because we have a lot of old kids' blankets and things like that, and blankets with Lightning McQueen on it and stuff like that we could pull out and we could put on there. That'd be fine. And then if it goes way longer than that and the blankets just aren't doing it, because your tanks are in an area that is very much susceptible to the cold. Maybe it's right next to a window. Maybe it's right next to a big sliding glass door that's letting in all that cool air, whatever it is. And you need to get hot water in there, warm water in there, mixing up that water on your gas grill. I know it sounds like crazy, but you got to do what you got to do. If your heat's been out for a while and you need to get those tanks warmed up, that is a way that you can do it. It's complicated. It's not fun, but you got to do what you got to do. If you have somebody that lives nearby that does have power and you have 5-gallon buckets, I used to have 10 5-gallon buckets with lids, and I could have taken those to my sister's house, filled them up with really hot water, brought them back here and we could have done that. And we can't do that now because my sister lives in the same neighborhood we do. Her power would be out too. But, sometimes you have to go to extremes like that, like filling up water that you've just boiled on your gas grill. We got to do what we got to do. Now there's another complication here. Okay. Let's say power went out. It's been out for 2 days. You've been doing everything you can do. You got blankets on them. You're pouring in some warm water every once in a while. You got your battery operated air pumps in there. Fish are okay. You know, they're not happy, but they're doing fine. They're going to make it. And then the power comes back on. Do we just all go back to business as usual? Do we just say, okay, everything's great? Not necessarily. We do need to be careful about this. Now, we have never had this happen. But we've never had a power outage longer than like 4 or 5 hours. But it is something that can happen, and it's something to be aware of. If your aquarium filters shut down for days, you have to understand that all of that bacteria that is in your tank, in your filter, and also in your substrate and everywhere else in your tank, if it has not been getting oxygen, if your bacteria has been starved of oxygen and warm water and all of that, you're also probably not going to be feeding your fish. So a lot of this bacteria is going to die off. What happens when bacteria dies off? What happens when anything dies off in our aquariums, whether it's in the main water column or in our filters or whatever? Everybody say it all at one time. Ammonia. So if you've got a big FX6 and it's been sitting under your tank for 3 days dormant because the power's been out, the water is freezing cold in there because you're not putting a blanket over your filter. You don't care about that. You care about the tank. So the water's in there freezing cold, kills off all the bacteria in that filter, and then power comes back on and that filter kicks up again. What's it going to be doing? It's going to be pissing all that ammonia. Literally, I got 2 cats right here that have ammonia in their pee. It's going to be pissing all that ammonia right back into your tank, and boom, you could wipe out your entire tank right there. You went through all that effort to make sure that everything was okay and that all of your fish made it through, and they did, and the power comes back on, and all of your fish get killed. I know it sounds extreme, and it is extreme, but it can happen. Something to be aware of. It is a good idea. It's hard work being a fish keeper. I mean, it is. We got to do work. It's a good idea if your power has been out for several days, service your filter before it kicks back on. I mean, you're not going to stick an air stone in your Marineland penguin filter to keep, and you're not going to put a heater in there. So if your filters have been sitting dormant for a very long time, you have to understand you might be cycling all of this. You might be starting from scratch with all of this all over again because of your tanks sitting there dormant for 4 days. You might need to be doing a whole lot of work when that power comes back on. Don't let your filter kick right back on. Let the heater come back on to get that problem solved. Your air stones are still moving the air, the air throughout the tank, moving the water. So take your time with getting your filters set up again. I think it's possible even sponge filters could be a problem because the water's going to be cooler than normal. You're not feeding the tank as much as normal, yet the fish are still pooping. The bacteria in your sponge filter might die off too. So you have to be careful with that. You have to understand that even though your fish made it through, there are other things in that tank that are dying off. So be very careful when you turn your tanks back on to make sure that you don't poison your entire collection with ammonia.
Right.
What else do you have to add? You got to thank some super chats, or do we get any more?
Oh. Yes. But you're going to have to do it because I can't go all the way back like that. Sorry.
I wish this was better.
And I mean, I heard you kind of touch base on it, but it's also important while you're going through all of that, not having power. It's best to not feed your fish because you're just, and if they're not warm enough, if they're in cooler water anyways, they may not want to eat because their metabolism has slowed down, and
yeah, they're not going to be happy anyway.
Yeah.
So you might be throwing that food in and it might just be little ammonia grenades going down to the bottom of the tank.
All you're doing is making it worse.
Fish tank barn came in again. The barn has 2 AC units. It would be brutal without. Yeah, I can imagine. You didn't have to pay me $2 to tell me that, Mike. We love you no matter what. Black Sheep Model Works, never got a reply to my email to you regarding lights. I don't remember an email about lights, but I've been completely overwhelmed for the last few weeks. Do not take it personal if I haven't answered you, but I don't remember a video. I don't remember an email about lights. I'll check, and if I have it, I'll email you back. Thank you for the $5 super chat, by the way. Michael McShane, love my wet pets. Used to be love my Honda Fit. Glad to be here tonight. I'm so late, had to work. Hi, all. Well, welcome, Mike. We are super glad to have you. Melissa Graves, best way to get rid of duckweed, shut the tank down completely, dry it out completely, and start all over again.
Or just get used to it.
Or get a fish in there. Don't goldfish eat duckweed? Get a fish in there that'll eat it all up. Yeah, that's kind of like cat pee in a carpet. It's pretty much going to be there forever. It's not a whole lot you can do. Got to throw the carpet out. Don't get rid of your fish tank, though. But I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat. Yes, somebody said, Chelsea Riley said, yes, goldfish love duckweed. See, there you go. I'm not such an idiot. I know a thing or two, but I'm not the one to ask about duckweed anyway. Jesse Buckholtz, welcome to the team as a new member. Welcome, my friend. DeWolf, about the common pleco, Soit. What is this? Should be okay as long as I keep him well fed. I don't want to have to take him to local fish store, but they have a pleco pond. Is it going to be better off in that pleco pond than it would be in your tank? Got to ask yourself that. If you love the fish, then you might need to rethink things because again, it's a catfish. Just, use whatever logic you would use with catfish. Hey, y'all, new hobbyist that has lost a couple of fish in 24 hours with no outward disease signs. Everything checks out perfect. Don't want to lose any more friends. It has nitrates, has 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites. 10 to 20 nitrates sounds kind of low, which is good. So now see DeWolf, that's not DeWolf, that's Mick Chamberlain, M. Chamberlain, not Mick Chamberlain, John. Maybe I am an idiot. With the numbers that you put through, everything seems like everything checks out properly. Were the fish bad to begin with? Did they come to you sick? That's possible. It's very difficult, though, to diagnose something like that unless you have something to add. It's very difficult to diagnose that
It really
as much as I want to, but that's a tough one because just imagine Chamberlain, M. Chamberlain, just imagine somebody comes to you and says, that guy died yesterday. Why? I had a fish die. Why? It's hard. You need a lot of information.
You don't know. I mean, if you've had them for 24 hours, you don't know how long the store had them prior to you getting them either. They could have just been, brought in and maybe they hadn't acclimated yet and they were still stressed out from being sent to the fish store before you got them. There's lots of different...
But I don't think he's saying he lost them within 24 hours of getting them.
Oh,
I think within 24 hours he lost a couple of fish.
Oh, okay. All right, I got it.
Moonstruck KK with the $5. How would the heat affect the prime or other dechlorinators, if at all? I don't know. And I don't know that it would because you can use dechlorinator in cold water tanks. You can use them anywhere. So I don't know. Now, if you're asking if the heat goes out and the water becomes cold, is somehow prime, the effect that prime is having on the water is going to go away because it's cold now and the chlorine's going to come back? No. Because those products eliminate the chlorine. It's gone. It's never coming back. I don't know if that's what you were asking, but that's not going to be an issue. And I don't know that there is a specific temperature that your tank needs to be in order for dechlorinators to work, period. I think it could be cold. I mean, if it's got icicles in it, I don't think that's a good thing. But yeah, I don't think that there's any effect on that at all. Melissa Jesweld with the what's that thing called? What's that thing called when birthdays that goes?
I have no idea. Annoying?
Well, look at the pear. That's what he's doing. He's celebrating. He's happy.
I mean, it's cute to look at on there, but I'm talking about like at birthday parties and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh.
They are extremely annoying. Neon Cherry with the Canadian $2. Thanks for the advice from last week. I got AutoCats today. Nice. Those should help you out quite a bit. All right. I want to get into a couple other things that I had to talk about here today. Remember, I talked about a couple of conversations that I had. Also,
Okay.
I did want to shout out real quick 3 members, because the members are the ones that gave us that topic for the video.
Right.
Love My Wet Pets, Michael McShane. I put out a post a couple of weeks ago that said, hey, what do you want us to talk about on Tank Talk Live? And Michael McShane, Jack Turner, and Eric Furlow, all 3 of those individuals asked about winter power outages. And I think Michael McShane lives in Boston, I think. It gets cold up there. So I think you live in Boston, or you live in Massachusetts somewhere, I think, because I remember sending you fish when we had our shop. So
Isn't that the same place?
what?
You said Boston or Massachusetts?
Or somewhere in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
If I didn't say
don't you
somewhere,
know
I meant
it's the
that.
same-
I meant to say somewhere in there. Okay. We've got a couple more super chats that popped through, but I will get those. I promise. I will not forget you, Ozzy. I'm not going to forget you. So the first YouTuber, and this is going to lead into my video recommendation for the week. Did you think of one yet? This is going to take me a few minutes, so you can, if you don't have one yet, you can think of it.
But I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't been on YouTube much this week, so I actually don't have a video recommendation.
How dare you?
How dare me? And I don't want to just say something because
I gotta get ready for
I
this.
like to, if I'm going to say a certain video or a certain person, I want to really mean it because that's just the way I am. I could say yours. I watched yours, but I don't think that counts.
I'm going to do something right now live on the live stream. I am going to share with the beautiful people that are watching this live stream. No, I don't want to send it to that. What? I'm going to send this. I'm going to show you all what's happening right next to me. Hopefully it doesn't shut my computer down because it's actually quite adorable. The cats are quite adorable. Here we go. Technology is such a beautiful thing. Something like this is going on, and you can just pop it right on the screen. This is happening on the floor right next to me. I'm going to put it between us. The cats, both of them, sleeping on that moving blanket that I put down. See, those moving blankets, they've got quite a few different purposes.
It's so funny because I was looking at the videos that I made of Mama Cat and the kittens back when I first got them, and it's just crazy how much Reno has grown.
That cat is driving me insane. And he's driving you insane too. Folks, if you watched Marie's beta video the other day, I put the bloopers in the end. That was 2 of about 75 interruptions that she had because of that cat. It was a nightmare.
He was crazy that day.
It was very entertaining
I
to
almost
watch.
stuck him in your office.
So we got to get into these conversations that I had with these 2 YouTubers. One of them was Rat Cross. I had a conversation with him the other day, and we were originally talking about something completely different. But like what always happens with him, with Corey, with Jason, with Bob, any of these people that I talk to on the phone, a 5-minute conversation, there's no such thing as a 5-minute conversation. It turned into about an hour and 15-minute long conversation. But he threw me for a loop he asked me a question that I've never answered before, and it's kind of weird. He said, John, and this was out of the blue, why do you stream? And I'm going to give you, the beautiful people that are watching this live stream right now, I'm going to give you the same answer that I gave to him. And that's going to lead into my video recommendation for the week. My answer to him was, for my entire adult life and even my teenage years, I started working when I was 13 for my father in the summers, working on construction sites. And if you worked on a construction site in Virginia in 1987, there was going to be a radio at that construction site, and there was going to be Howard Stern. That's just what it was going to be. And then it was going to be Nino Greasemanelli, Grease Man, after that.
Right.
It was just what you did. There wasn't music. And if there was music, it was classic rock, which at the time I couldn't stand. So it was Howard Stern. It was every single day I was listening to Howard Stern. Howard Stern became a part of my life. And I still listen to Howard to this day. There was also another radio show that came on at 3 o'clock, again, even back then, which was Don and Mike. Don Geronimo and Mike O'Mara. That was a nationally syndicated show, but they were based in D.C. And at the time, Howard was in D.C. too. He was in D.C. 101. So talk radio, since I was 13 years old, has been a huge part of my life. Other than the 5 years that I was a police officer, I've always worked jobs where I'm driving, like I'm a service technician for air conditioning and heating, or I'm a service technician for cable TV, or now for furniture repair. I'm driving. And so the radio, having those guys talk to me, I felt a connection to those guys. I know this sounds corny, but if you've ever been a fan like that of talk radio, you know what I'm talking about. These are guys that you would turn on every day, no matter what. It doesn't matter. You're not responding to a title that they put on their show, because the title is The Howard Stern Show or The Don and Mike Show. You don't know what they're going to talk about every single day, but you're going to listen anyway because you're a fan of those guys. You feel like you're a part of it. The weird thing is, and this is an absolute fact, I could show you my history on Google Maps. I was directly across the street from Mike O'Mara's house today. One of the guys that I was just talking about, Don Geronimo and Mike O'Mara, the Don and Mike Show, look it up. Absolutely fantastic show. I was across the street from his house today working. I'm not some weird stalker. I'm not. I was working, and I don't even know why I know that's his house. I just know that that's his house. He lives in Manassas, Virginia, at the corner of Portner and
Maybe he doesn't want everybody to know where he lives, John.
Anyway, he's got a beautiful house. It's a gorgeous house, and he has a
Oh my
podcast
gosh.
now that he does out of his house, I believe. So anyway, doing this live stream, and particularly doing We Need to Talk, is the closest thing I will ever have to fulfilling a lifelong fantasy of being a talk radio host. I know that sounds sappy and that sounds like, aw, but that's why I do it. This is the closest thing to that I will ever have. And it means a lot to me. This is something I look forward to all week long. As long as the microphones are working, I'm totally excited to do this. It's something I look very much forward to. And I'm looking forward even more to We Need to Talk. Now, this is a new thing for us, for me, because you're never a part of it, and that's fine. I understand. If you're not familiar with the We Need to Talk show that I do, it's on Saturday nights. It's going to be every other week. We've had Jason from Primetime Aquatics. We've had Bob Steenfott last week. This week coming up 2 days from now is going to be Zenzo Tazawa. That show is different from this one. This one, we're going to talk to you about fish keeping. We're going to talk to you about all of the things going on with the fish keeping world. That one, we're going to talk about that stuff but we're also going to talk about whatever else we want to talk about. It's kind of a wide open format. Whatever we want to do, whatever comes out, that's what comes out. And I love that. It's an opportunity for me to just relax and actually kind of get away from fish keeping. I know that sounds crazy, but I live it and breathe it now. So, and do it for work. So it's nice to get that little bit of a break from it. But I also understand that there are some people that consume fish keeping content and that's all they want. They're the people that as soon as I start talking about something that is not fish keeping related, they start putting it in the chat. What does this have to do about fish? When are you going to talk about fish? Why aren't you talking about fish? Those people they're probably not going to want to watch We Need to Talk. They'll probably stay away from those. And that's okay. I'm not going to be mad at you if you miss out on those. Because I know it's not for everybody. A lot of people don't want to hear me and Zenzo talk about Christian Hosoi or talk about motocross or something like that.
I don't want to hear it.
Tune in Saturday night. I don't know if Zenzo knows who Christian Hosoi is, but I think he probably does. But that's what that one is all about. It's just me getting an opportunity to sit with a fish keeping YouTuber and peel back the curtains and learn a little bit more about that person. Learn about them. We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about, offensive stuff. What's your view on Donald Trump? No, we're not going to do all of that. We're going to talk about fun stuff, life and kids. Zenzo's got kids. He's a married man with a couple of kids. Him and I are the same age, or he might be a year older than me. I don't know. He certainly doesn't look a year older than me. But we're going to talk about whatever we talk about. And it's kind of in that, yes, you knew it was coming, that Joe Rogan style. That's the whole thing. Now, Joe Rogan is that Howard Stern and Don and Mike kind of guy. I don't even need to look at the thumbnail. I don't even need to look at who the guest is on that episode of Joe Rogan. When it pops up, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to put it on my Bluetooth and I'm going to listen to it. Why? Because Joe Rogan is a professional conversationalist. I don't even know if that's a word, but it sure does sound good. I enjoy sitting there listening to that man talk about anything. He's very good at having it. It's not interviews. And that's what We Need to Talk is. It's not interviews. That's not what we're doing. We're just having a conversation. So if you're somebody that only wants fish keeping content, maybe skip that. But I don't think you should. I think you should come and watch it. Case in point with Joe Rogan, the fact that he is a guy that I will listen to no matter what and watch if I'm not driving. He came out with an episode yesterday that I watched. The individual that was his guest, I'd never heard of. I saw him in the video. I was at a red light. Saw him in the video. Didn't know who this guy was. Never saw him before, but it didn't matter. I was going to listen anyway. But this guy happened to be, this is where it ties into fish keeping, folks, and why it is my video recommendation of the week. This guy happened to be the producer of the documentary The Cove, which is a movie that temporarily ruined my life and still has a significant effect on my life to this day. And you, woman, shame on you. You are the reason why I watched that movie. This is the story.
Uh-oh.
That movie came out like 10 years ago or whatever. It was on Redbox.
Okay.
And on demand wasn't a thing in King George then. So we would rent Redbox movies and we would watch movies on the weekends. That's what we would do. This was before we even lived together. She saw that this video had fish. And she's like, well, John will like it because it has fish. And so she rented it. We started watching it. You fell asleep 10 minutes in.
I don't remember this movie.
It wasn't even 10 minutes. And she fell asleep and I watched the whole thing. If you are a fish keeper, you should watch The Cove. I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be an extremely difficult thing for you to watch. Redbox and chill. I like that. It's a difficult watch, but as a fish keeper, you should watch it.
Wait a minute. Is this about like the dolphins?
It's about the dolphins.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It is
yeah.
it's a difficult thing to watch, but it is brilliantly done. I'm a sucker for good documentaries, and this is a good one. Apparently, he has a new documentary out. It's not about dolphin hunting. It's about something else. I don't know. Something to do with nature. And I'm going to watch that one too. I don't know how to watch it, but that is what that, oh, my foot was stuck. That's what, sorry, kitties. That was my video recommendation of the week. Joe Rogan has 6.8 million subscribers. He doesn't need my shout out, nor will he ever know that I gave him a shout out. But you should definitely take the time. And if you've never seen Joe Rogan's podcast before, you'll see why I love him so much. And I respect what he does so much, because he's very much like me. He's somebody that is very strict in his beliefs, but he does not turn on somebody because they have differing beliefs than him. And I love that. He can have a conversation with somebody that is on the complete opposite side of the spectrum from him, and he's okay with that. And he can have a respectful and nice conversation. And I love that. And he's probably, him and Howard Stern right now are the two best interviewers on the planet. And I think that it's because they don't interview, they have a conversation. And that's what I'm going to do every Saturday night. Every other Saturday night on We Need to Talk.
Right.
So I feel good about that one. You should all watch that. What about Blackfish? I have not seen Blackfish, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I know that's a nightmare. I know that's a horror movie. And so I don't need to see it. The Cove, I was conned into watching. I did not know.
Sorry.
I did not know.
I obviously didn't know either. I didn't even, I remember now you telling me about it because I didn't watch it. And,
you woke up and I was like, what have you done? Why did you make me watch this?
yeah.
But I know what Blackfish is. I know what it's about.
I haven't heard of that.
It's
one.
whales. It's the same thing, but whales, and the way whales are treated in SeaWorld and stuff like that. I know what that's about. I don't need to see that. I thought The Cove was just going to be a really cool documentary about dolphins. I didn't know it was going to be what it turned out to be. So yeah, understand there is a total nightmare that happens at the end of The Cove. Be full warned, but I think it should be required watching for any fish keeper, and you're probably going to say the same for Blackfish. But anyway, we need to get into this last little bit before we send everybody over to the River Life Community Tank Live. And that is the second conversation that I had with a YouTuber. We've only lost like 60 viewers when I was talking about why I live stream. I hope that makes sense though, folks. This is a treat for me. Live streaming is a treat for me. Whether it's talking about fish, whether it's talking about our life, whether it's talking with another YouTuber on Saturday night and just hanging out and talking about whatever. This is fulfilling a lifelong fantasy for me. I know that sounds corny, but it really is. And that's why I'm as animated, and that's why I get so upset when things don't go right, because I've wanted to do this my entire life. So the other conversation that I had with another YouTuber is about the threat that life could be completely taken away from us. And I've talked about it a couple of times. I don't know if you know anything about it, Marie, but it is the whole situation that is happening on YouTube with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act.
I talked to you about it
COPPA for short.
few weeks ago because I heard about it on Bob's stream, and I was like, did you hear about this?
I pronounce it COPPA. Some people say COPPA. The reason why I say COPPA is because the little weasel that delivered that, I'm definitely going to get hit now, but the weasel that did that press conference, who was a representative from the FTC, called it COPPA. So I'm calling it COPPA. But anyway.
Was it really a weasel?
He looked like a weasel. He looked like an arrogant little power-hungry little weasel that lives with his mom. He's 58 years old. But anyway,
I mean, tell us how you really feel.
I'm definitely
because you're
getting my channel shut down.
You're in trouble now, so you might as well just say everything.
My channel's going down, and that sucks. It was really fun talking to y'all, and I enjoyed it very much. But
there goes your dream.
This YouTuber was concerned about COPPA, and I understand why, because it's become a very trendy thing now for drama YouTubers to jump all over it and create these videos that are, oh, this is the end of the world. YouTube is going to die. We're all going to lose our revenue, and there's no more YouTube. This is it. It's all done. And I say pump the brakes on that a little bit because of what we are. Now, YouTube is all about trends. Somebody does something that's working and they get a lot of views, everybody copies them. And that's what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. Now, there's a couple that are very smart and very educated on this that I've watched, and they're kind of doom and gloom too, but they're more doom and gloom to the channels that they should be doom and gloom on. Bottom line, if you don't know what this is, folks, the government has basically stepped in and they have started to regulate it goes into effect January 1st, but what they're trying to regulate is the collection of data from kids. Now, you're not supposed to be using YouTube if you're under the age of 13, and that's how YouTube got away with this for as long as they did, because COPPA's been around since the late 90s. But that was the way around it for them for a long time was, hey, we have a rule. You're supposed to be over 13 to be doing this. But the government says, look, you know, every mom waiting in line at DMV is handing their phone to the little kid and saying, here, watch YouTube and shut up so you don't embarrass me. That's happening. It's happening everywhere. We all do it.
What to say moms are doing it? It could be a dad.
It could be a dad too. A dad would be just as likely to do something like that. But kids are watching YouTube. We all know they are. Our kids have been watching YouTube since they were very young. And it's our choice to allow them to do that. We didn't have to let them watch YouTube when they were 11. And I believe that's where it should stop. It should stop with the parents. If we are making the choice to let our kids do that, it should be on us, not Larry and Sergey. It should be on us. So it's no different than if I was a subscriber to Playboy, which I'm not and never have been. If I was a subscriber to Playboy and I left them where every man would leave their Playboys, in the bathroom, and I'm making the choice to leave my Playboys sitting. I don't own a Playboy, folks. Come on. I'm making the choice to leave that in the bathroom for our 16-year-old to look at. That's my choice. And it's the same way with letting a minor, a child under the age of 13, watch YouTube. As the parent, you're making that choice. That's where I think it should stop. But anyway, the biggest problem that COPPA has is the collection of data on these kids by way of internet cookies. We all know what cookies are. If you don't, it's basically the internet's way of keeping track of everything that you're doing, keeping track of the websites that you're going on, keeping track of the things that you're interested in, so that when you go on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg can put up an ad for something that you were just looking up on Amazon, and you'll buy it there instead of buying it from Amazon. Why are you laughing at me?
Reading the chat.
So that's what they have a problem with. And they also have a problem with content that is being directed towards kids, but it shouldn't be. And so what they're trying to do, they're not trying, they're doing it. It's going to happen. It's game on. But what they're going to do, you realize you totally throw me off when you do that, right? So what they're going to do is they have already cracked down on content that is being created for kids. If you're a YouTuber, if you've gone onto YouTube Studio, you've already seen it's right here. I'm looking at it right now. You're legally required to comply with Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and/or other laws. You're obligated to tell us if your live stream is made for kids, use Live Control Room. It's already there. Basically, what YouTube is doing, and this is the scary part, this is what's getting everybody to freak out. I'm going to do my best to be done by 10:30 so we don't step on wreck. YouTube's basically covering their ass. That's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, we're leaving it all up to the YouTubers. If they mess it up, it's their fault, not ours. And so they're leaving it on us, which is fine. It's a privilege for us to be able to do what we're doing. So if I screw something up, Larry and Sergey shouldn't have to pay for it. I should have to pay for it. So I don't blame them for that. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, they're the owners of Google and YouTube. Stop looking at me weird. So I always say that, Larry and Sergey. Okay. They are the owners of YouTube. So what COPPA is going to do is they're going to do a sweep of YouTube randomly. And they're going to find these videos that have targeted advertising that are geared towards kids. And that's what they're trying to avoid. So for channels that are creating content that are for kids, cartoons, stop smiling. Don't be happy. People that are creating content for kids are going to get screwed. They're getting plugged here. I mean, it really does suck for them. It particularly sucks for the ones that are doing good content. They're doing nice, family-friendly, G-rated, wholesome content for kids, that the kids aren't being manipulated and they're being taught good lessons and all of this. There are people who create videos on YouTube. These are people that are certified teachers that are creating content on YouTube to educate children for use for homeschoolers and stuff like that. And they're making more money through their YouTube ad revenue than they would be if they were a teacher. And they should, because all teachers should make more money. They're going to lose almost everything because of this, because the government had to stick their nose in something that if parents did their job, this would have never happened. But parents don't do their job anymore. They give the kid an iPad and they shove them in the corner and they say, shut up. We did that with TV and iPads and we all do it. We are all guilty of it. We're all just as guilty as anyone else. But it's our choice to do that. If I'm going to let my kid who's 16 play Call of Duty, I'm making that choice. Bill Gates didn't make that choice.
We take him to paintball for his birthday and they all go around shooting each other. What's the difference? I
mean, you know what? It's not Bill Gates' fault. That's my point. He's playing it on an Xbox, which is a Microsoft product, and it's a Microsoft game. It's not Bill Gates' fault that my kid is playing Call of Duty. It's mine. And his big brother who bought him the game for his birthday. But that's our choice. That's the point that I'm trying to make. But you know what? My belief is, I've got 2 more minutes. My belief is I don't believe now that it's going to affect us. I think we're in the clear because we are creating content that children may watch, sure, but the content is not created for them. There's a lot of kids that are fish keepers. I mean, that's just is what it is. Yeah, but there's also a lot of kids that play baseball. There's a lot of kids that play basketball. There's a lot of kids that like skateboarding. Are all of those videos that any kid could ever possibly click on gonna get nailed? No, because that would shut YouTube down. Hundreds of thousands of people would lose their jobs. Not only people directly employed by Larry and Sergey, but also people that make their livings on YouTube. There's already going to be a ton that are going to lose their jobs. I don't think that we are affected. And I wish I could talk about it more because I could talk about it for hours, but you keep laughing and it's really distracting.
What's pickleball?
And I don't know. And super chats keep popping through. I want to thank these real quick. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more on Saturday night with Zenzo. But Chris, Multi-Tank Addiction, he's the one that asked me about it today. I don't think it's time to hit the panic button. I think we need to be on our P's and Q's. I think if you're somebody that... Stop laughing! If you're somebody that has created videos for fish keepers that does feature children, like unfortunately, Bob went to the overhauls or Jimmy went to the overhauls and filmed it. Bob didn't go. I don't know what it was. And Caleb's in that video. That could be hit because Caleb is a child. And if the video features a child, if the video is geared towards children, you probably got to go ahead and sacrifice that video and turn monetization off on that. But if you're somebody like us, we don't have kids in our videos. The ones that have ever appeared in the videos are over 13. I don't think it's going to be a huge issue for us. We've never made a video specifically for children. So for now, I don't think it's going to affect us, but we're talking about the United States government. Anything's possible. January 1st is not the end, but I don't think for us it's time to hit the panic button. But for the people who are creating good content that's educating children and helping them to become better human beings, for you, I feel very sorry for you. And I'm sorry that you're getting screwed by the United States government the way you are. John D with the $5. I will be plumbing my 150 for a drain to aid in water changes. Your thoughts on hooking up the feed of the FX6 to get rid of the strainer? No, I don't want to mess with that. I mean, well, if you're talking about hooking it up to that little nipple on the bottom, sure, why not? Multi-tank addiction, thank you for bringing this up, John. You are very welcome. $2. Hung Chow, I love River Life, but Tesla's Cybertruck reveal is at 11 p.m. tonight, so I can't see the whole River Life show live stream. Tesla.com. Excited. I'll be watching that too, but I'll have two screens open so I can watch both because I'm not going to betray my man Rack. Jack, 664 Canadian. It looks like more than it is, but it's only worth $5 US. Hey, it's still a treat. And thank you very much for that. And it skipped. Black Sheep Model Works. I just deleted all my scale model reviews on my channel because of this damned thing. And I'm sorry. That is unfortunate. When you have, I talked about teachers and stuff like that, but there's also people that do toy reviews. There's a lot of adults that collect Legos and toys. I collect bobbleheads, so I can't make fun of those people. And I collect toys too. And they make videos about these. Those are going to get hit. And I feel sorry for those people. It sucks when the government tries to raise our children. And that's exactly what they're doing here. And it pisses me off. I wish they would just stay out of it. Listen, folks. What are you in?
Can the word be weasel?
No, the word. Nobody knows how to spell weasel. I don't even know how to spell weasel. The word for this week is hashtag how dare you. I've been waiting all week to do that. Hashtag how dare you. Let's all go over to Rat Cross's River Life Community Tank live stream. Let's go over there. Let's use hashtag how dare you and let's show him some love. If you haven't subscribed to him, do it. Dorcula, I'm very excited to see you here. I was wondering, was that Dorcula?
Yeah.
Because you said Katie. Didn't know if you made the Asia trip or not. Apparently you did not. So glad to see you here. Tell Corey I did okay. Just tell him I did fine. I didn't embarrass him or anything. Hashtag how dare you. Go check out River Life and you'll see why I like that guy so much. He's just a sweetheart and everybody loves him. So thank you all so much for letting me vent. Thank you for tolerating the last 5 minutes there. Going whale watching in Mexico in March 2020 during the mating season. Ooh. Mexican Riviera, going on a cruise ship from LAX. That is fantastic. Take lots of pictures and send me lots of videos. And thank you for another super chat. Thank you all so much for letting me do this. I enjoy it very much. And thank you for laughing through the whole thing. You make me feel like I'm saying things wrong.
No, I have to go look in the bathroom now.
We'll see you all on Saturday night with Zenzo.